To our next topic, briefly, there were a couple of surprises. I think from the trade deadline, not a lot of trades, kind of lame, but I think some interesting sellers because I feel like it kind of exposes them as giving up on their season. The Texans, I think it's weird, especially when you have a really, really good quarterback and a good wide receiver core. Like, you have good pieces to that, and your division's not very tough. So, why are we not, trying to be, somewhat competitive?
I mean, the problem...
Or going full sale, No. Being in the middle just is weird.
Here's the thing. The Texans can't go full sale because they don't own any picks because Bill O'Brien traded it all along with DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson.
But that's what I'm saying.
I think at this point, they're just... You can't come back in that division, truth be told.
Can't?
No, they're not. It's not happening. They're not.
I mean, I don't know if they are, but
they have 2 wins,
Tennessee,
and they're not in the NFC East.
Tennessee,
it's not happening.
Tennessee has also been exposed. They have 5 wins, dude. We're
So-
in week 9.
The problem is the fact that it's going to be
Then that means that
Tennessee or Indianapolis winning that division.
Yeah,
okay.
and maybe
Houston and
India just
Jacksonville
brought the
both have
defense.
1 win. They have to go on incredible run, so the Texans' remaining schedule. Let's look at it real quick. Yeah. They're going to beat the Jaguars because the Jaguars are trash.
They're actually bad again. Yeah.
Okay. They're going to lose to the Browns. They're going to lose to the Patriots. They're going to lose to the Lions. They're going to lose to the Colts. Who knows what will happen when they play the Bears because the Bears are an unpredictable team. They're going to lose to the Colts. They're probably going to lose to the Bengals, and they're going to lose to the Titans.
I guess time will tell.
Just sell. Just start
But
over.
that's
Clean
what I'm
slate.
saying.
But
Clean slate.
they can't clean slate it because they don't have any of their own draft picks.
But I'm saying, you got to thin it out. Then you got to trade your big contracts for multiple smaller contracts.
you
You gotta spread it out.
You
Which
gotta,
is
you
why
gotta find some money.
The Packers are the ideal
place to unload.
Yeah,
'Cause you're
and
gonna
they
get
didn't
value
do
for. Well, I mean,
but
on
that's
them.
something about the Packers front office that we don't want to talk about.
Correct. I think also people who got into the selling business that kind of shocked me a little bit. The Vikings, even though I feel you're currently you have 1 win on the season.
The Vikings have 2 wins.
At
least.
Also trash. Right. So I feel like you have 2 wins on the season, and you're looking up in a division to 2 teams that are good in a very similar situation to the Texans, but you start selling, but you've built this team to not sell right now. You know what I'm saying? They're just in a weird place as far as their timeline.
They made the mistake of paying Kirk Cousins.
As we know on this podcast, Ben is a huge,
Can we go back in time?
Huge hate fan. I just can't stand the man that is. You like that, don't like that. That is Captain Kirk Cousins. I cannot take this man.
Well, if
I don't. Not a single week of this season have I bet on him. I think that they are terrible because they paid him. I think that the Washington football team, formerly known as the Redskins, made a great decision in not paying this man, and it has bore out over time that he is overpaid.
Well, Mr. Benjamin, I've got to be the Jerry the King Lawler to your good old JR. Whatever they did, they beat the division leaders. There's hope.
No, it's not hope. They didn't beat the division leaders because of Kirk Cousins, because any quarterback can hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook.
Well, now that we know that we got that
Jameis
formula,
could have done that.
We can, and now that they know, they can build around it. They can get their receivers back. They can find some replacement for Stephon Diggs.
Brian is the Skip Bayless of the Vikings. He just over here hyping them and talking them because he knows that I'm so down on Kirk Cousins. He just wants them to win a little bit in his
But
heart.
every time you just absolutely not Kirk Cousins. No. And then he just
All right, Brian.
oh, by the way.
Just
to spite you.
No, wait. So,
just to spite you.
Like a subscriber on YouTube.
So
I'm going to beat this man.
I personally think that point differential is a good way to figure out how good or bad a team is, right?
That's not a bad.
Look.
Okay, no. Okay, there are 3 teams in the NFL that have a worse point differential than the Vikings. Okay?
And they're all in the same division.
Yeah! Okay? The only teams with a worse point differential is a team that has no name, the Dallas Cowboys,
Oh, your stock reference.
and the New York Giants. Okay, those are the only teams in the NFC that have a worse point differential. Okay, the Vikings are at a minus 31 for the season. Okay, if we include the AFC, we're not going to talk about the Jets anymore.
God bless.
And you want it to be higher than us in the power rankings.
Man.
Houston and Jacksonville, both trash teams. Denver, but Denver's defense has been decimated, so I'm not going to hold it all against them.
Decimated.
Denver.
They lost Von Miller before the season started. He's their best player.
So how do you say decimated when it just like started at a negative?
That's
Chop the
decimated.
head off.
Okay.
Right? Like what? You were already at a net negative. How you gonna
Chop the
say
head off of that
boy.
beast.
And then Cleveland and New England have the same point differential. Okay, the Vikings are not a good team.
I agree.
But they get it done sometimes.
You can't say they get it done sometimes when it takes the Packers without Aaron Jones for them to win.
But you got
And our
But you got
poorest
Devontae Adams
defense.
back.
It doesn't matter. Our defense is so poor against the run. It's so bad.
Whose fault?
I mean, I personally think
You
that
got a bad run defense against a good run team.
I personally think
fault?
but our run defense is always bad. Like I don't understand how the Ravens and the Steelers always have good defenses. Like they have people that like leave and their defenses are still good.
Correct.
I think I understand.
A lot of it's in philosophy.
It's called defensive coordinator.
You're right.
And I mean, I get that, but I don't think that the Ravens defensive coordinator can make our defense that much better.
In any
So our defense is trash.
in any cap sport, you also have a coach cap. Like you can't just like buy all the best coaches. You can only put so much money into your coaching contract.
Yeah, Mike
pick the good
Pettin
ones.
wasn't necessarily
Yeah, so-
terrible as a defensive coordinator
but
before
if-
he
but
got to Green Bay.
If you
He was
know
a bad head coach.
no. If you know that you have a good coach at like Belichick. Belichick's like, oh, I'm good at defense. I need to pull in some offensive people.
We need to talk about this guy.
knows
Let's
that's
not
the-
talk about
that's
the Pats right now because
But I'm just saying.
their
that's
defense
the
hasn't been
that's
great
correct.
and their
That's
offense
correct.
hasn't been great. So
But I'm
Some
saying-
quarterback messiah
I'm
theory.
purely speaking in generalities. I'm saying like when you know that you can handle one side of the ball, you bring in people who can handle the other side of the ball. Period. If you know that you're a great defensive coach, you don't need to sit there and like put a lot of money into your defensive coaches. You need to put money on the offensive side of the ball within your within your front office. So like, I don't want to hear it within your coaching staff. I don't want to hear it. That's on Green Bay. But yeah, the only other team out of all the people, I mean, there really weren't not a lot of trades, but the one team that surprised me was the Dolphins, y'all. Buying a little bit, like going out there trying to win the East. Is anyone else shocked?
no, I think the Dolphins have a good chance to win the East because I think
Shocking chance to win the East.
I think Buffalo is more suspect than people want to say.
Also, we talked about that last week. How Allen just hasn't looked great recently.
But it's not even that. It's just
It
like
is. That's a big part of it.
So I saw this stat the other day talking about the way that Buffalo starts their season determines on how they like finish. I think there's a good chance that Buffalo has a winning record this year. I think there's a good chance that Buffalo might make some teams concerned in the playoffs, but overall they don't have it as a
I
whole.
agree.
I can see them getting like 9 wins.
No, I think the Dolphins are going to win the East. Hot. And I mean,
That's a bold. That's
Hot daddy.
that is a bold one. But I also see it
no,
happening.
but
now
how
as
is
well.
it bold?
I
Like
know,
Buffalo
I
is
mean-
6-2, Miami is 4-3, and I think Miami might just have a better team.
Especially on the defensive side of the ball.
It's-
I definitely think
Especially
it
on the
comes
defensive
down
side.
to those two.
I mean,
It's definitely on
At
those two
least.
instead of the Pats.
well,
and
the only way that the
Buffalo.
Pats do anything is if Cam Newton starts playing the way that he
MVP
was
Cam,
at
yeah.
the start of the season instead of after his COVID.
Cam got the same
Diagnosis.
Cam has the same problem that Tom Brady did with less skill. Who we throwing to?
I mean, so I like to listen to the Bill Simmons podcast, and he constantly talks about the fact that it seems like every team except for the Pats can draft a receiver in the draft, and the Pats somehow miss every time.
Dude, I also heard that from him. They legit.
They can't.
They miss every time.
Like they would
I
kill
think-
for Chase Claypool.
I think this comes down to my theory. Like, if you have like a quarterback that's just transcendent, just that good, people just aren't worried about the offensive side of the ball. They just focus on the defense side of the ball. It's like, okay, we got Aaron Rodgers. He'll get us there. He'll get us to the playoffs. He'll do Aaron Rodgers things.
But unfortunately, that's not incorrect.
And like the same thing in New England. Just like, oh, Tom Brady. He'll
do Tom Brady things.
He's got it. He's going to carry the offense. So that's why New England has been successful as it is. Well, I think that Brady carried Belichick because Tom Brady's just like, I'll get it done. I'm Tom Brady. I'm going to make the right decision. And they just invest on the defensive side of the ball, and they get through. I think kind of that's what is happening in Kansas City now, because I'm pretty sure you put Tyreek Hill on a different team. You put Sammy Watkins. Sammy Watkins has been on plenty of different teams. You put all those receivers on different teams. They're not doing the same thing. And also in Seattle, Russell Wilson's got that ability where they're not putting that much around him. Except for Metcalf.
I was about to say, don't you do that to Metcalf.
They're not putting that much around him, and he's just making everybody look like superstars, except Metcalf. Metcalf's just great. And then you just invest on the other side of the ball. And now it's caught up to Bill Belichick because he doesn't have that anymore.
Correct.
And the same thing, how Aaron Rodgers, they don't keep investing in receivers or what have you.
But they don't always need to invest in receivers. Like, honestly, it's not been our offense that's killing us right now. It's our defense. Because, once again, if it always seems like for the Packers especially, that if you have a good running back, you can destroy us. Because Jair Alexander is becoming an incredible cornerback. Okay, Adrian Amos at that safety position is shoring up the back half of our defense. There's our front seven that's always poor. And unfortunately, the Smith brothers haven't been doing what they were doing last year, rushing the quarterback.
In my opinion, not having an intimate look of the organization, it just seems like you guys are in like that transitional period when you're going from what's left over from Mike McCarthy into, to the new guy,
the Vrabel situation,
and so as you're phasing those guys out and getting more of your guys in there, it is going to be a turnaround.
Obvious that the Packers front office is looking more towards the future than just trying to win now, and there's a part of me that appreciates that because it means that you're not just trying to sell out now in order to not be successful in the future.
The Rams.
But just it makes the Jordan Love and A.J. Dillon picks in the draft that much more suspect. Because there were guys that were available at that point in the draft that definitely could have helped us on the defensive side of the ball.
I mean, that can be a subject for a whole nother YouTube video, right. the Packers draft conundrum.
Right. We'll definitely make a note out of that.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, I think. Oh, next topic. Sorry. And I think that talking about the Dolphins being one of the surprise buyers and trying to make a playoff push goes perfectly into talking about the proposed COVID, adjusted 16-team playoff. I think that is a wild idea, but it would really water down the quality of getting that number one seed. Like, what would that do to your season if you're already in a position like Pittsburgh or like the Seahawks or the Chiefs? Do you push and try to win all these games, or are you like, resting yourself a little bit in the middle of the season, pacing yourself, trying to, just trying to win your division versus trying to like get that number one seed?
I think that everybody just saw what the NBA did, and now everybody's just thinking. But also remember, they did that because the NBA didn't get a full season. We're having a full season, so that would be wild to basically make a whole nother quarter of a season, basically.
Yeah, tournament.
Yeah.
It really having it end of the year almost tournament style it's a little different than having incentives for winning your divisions.
But I mean, given this current environment because of the pandemic, in a way, 16-team playoff makes sense. Because
who are team? But look at the last wild card from the AFC. Who would that be right now?
no, I mean, I get what you're saying there, but all I'm saying is like
Because we talked about last week with the current format, the Browns are a playoff team, are a potential playoff team. But if you include another team after the Browns, who are you pulling into the playoffs?
well, I'm just so this is my fan bias showing. The Packers are in a really interesting situation this week because if Aaron Jones can't go, essentially our like the three running backs that we came into the season with are no-goes for Thursday. Because A.J. Dillon tested positive, Jamal Williams was considered a high-risk contact, and Aaron Jones is still injured, okay? You're telling me our top three running backs are going to be out this season? Or for this game? Like, Aaron Rodgers is already having to do everything. If you're telling me he's going to have no running back help, that makes this game that much more difficult.
See,
Talk to Russell.
You don't
Boy.
get lonely.
Talk
See
to
you
Russell
at the
and
crossroads.
Patty. They could do more with less. I don't
Wait. So are you trying to say that Russell and
could.
Pat
Could.
both have
They could.
less on the receiving end than
They
Aaron
could.
Rodgers?
They'll make-
Because
Russell
all
does.
Aaron Rodgers has right now is Devontae.
Russell made it.
Yes.
He has Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf.
Tyler Lockett on any other team would not be anything. Don't disrespect DK
Yes.
Metcalf.
Yes.
No, I think that
I'm
on
surprised
any-
DK Metcalf fell as far as he did.
No, I think that Tyler Lockett on any team that has a quarterback that's willing to throw the ball downfield works. Okay, like I think Justin Herbert would kill to have Tyler Lockett.
But he has deep threats.
I understand, but it seems like all Justin Herbert wants to do is throw the ball deep.
Well, yeah, because that's how you get the yards, bro.
He went to Oregon.
Like, what are you talking
No,
about?
I understand that, but all I'm
They
saying
run the
is,
spread, boy.
Yeah, y'all run that way.
They-
I throw it that way.
They run the spread,
but
boy.
all I'm saying is, like, if you put Tyler Lockett on the Chargers, are the Chargers a better team?
No.
like Joe Burrow. Like,
No.
like that's what I'm saying. You put Tyler Lockett on the Bengals, and the Bengals are a better team.
But
No.
No, it's the same comparison.
no, it's not, because once again, Tyler Lockett does things that Russell Wilson, or because of the amount of time that he's played with Russell Wilson, that work.
No, I think Tyler Lockett is as good as he is because Russell Wilson.
Ben,
Yes.
you have both of them on your fantasy team. How did it feel to have Tyler Lockett that 1 week where he went off for like 50 points?
He had 53.4 points actually, and
I had him in the league too. Thank you very much.
and he's
Sat him right on my bench. Still won.
no boy, still won. Nah, man, he definitely was a difference maker because Gronk put up 0 that week.
Bro.
That's because Croc isn't good anymore.
Boy, he
No,
watched.
there have been a
Whoa.
couple of times where they've panned to the sidelines during Tampa Bay games, and you just see Gronk
Don't get
sitting
me
there,
started.
like standing there looking
Don't
like,
get me started.
"Why did I come back?"
Like, bro, why am I here? But anyway, so 16-team playoff. That is a wild one.